Ever feel like your joints are like, nope, not today, every time you move?
Whoa, tell me about it. It's like they're waging a war against movement, right?
Seriously. So many people are struggling with joint pain, especially arthritis. We thought it was time for a deep dive into how our diets might be playing a role.
Absolutely. We always hear, you are what you eat. Turns out that applies to our joints just as much as the rest of us.
Right. And for this deep dive, we've been checking out this video by Rayhanajones. She's a health and wellness expert. One thing she talked about that really stood out was how in some parts of the world where people are still eating traditional diets, less processed stuff.
Right, more like whole foods, that kind of thing.
Exactly. She was saying that rheumatoid arthritis is almost unheard of in those places.
Huh. See, that is fascinating. It really makes you wonder how much our modern lifestyle and what we're eating is contributing to these inflammatory conditions.
So just to be clear, we're not just talking about like our joints getting a bit creaky as we get older, are we?
Right. That's osteoarthritis, the wear and tear kind. Diet plays a role there too, of course. But we're really focusing on rheumatoid arthritis here, which is a whole different ballgame.
Because with rheumatoid arthritis, it's your own immune system attacking your joints.
Exactly. It's like your body's defenses get confused and turn against you. And that's where food gets really interesting because certain foods can actually trigger or worsen that inflammation, which then sets off the whole immune response.
Wow. So it's like a vicious cycle. You get inflammation, it triggers the immune system, which attacks the joints, and then more inflammation.
Exactly. It's like a runaway train you need to stop. And this is why everyone's talking about gut health these days.
Ah, the gut. It always comes back to the gut, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's the connection there?
Well, the research is still emerging, but it seems like the gut microbiome, all those trillions of bacteria living in our intestines, they play a huge role in regulating inflammation throughout the body.
So it's not just about digestion. Our gut is actually sending out signals that can either calm down or fire up inflammation everywhere, including our joints.
Right. And that's why what we feed our gut, what we eat, can have such a powerful effect.
Makes you think twice about that extra slice of cake, huh?
Maybe. But hey, it's about balance, right? Speaking of balance, Jones talks about this idea of fasting as a potential way to manage rheumatoid arthritis. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, fasting is definitely having a moment. But to be clear to everyone listening, we are not giving medical advice here.
Absolutely not. Always talk to your doctor before making any big changes to your diet, especially if you've got health conditions or are on medication.
But it is an interesting idea, right? This idea that by fasting, you're kind of hitting the reset button on your gut.
Yeah, it's like giving your digestive system a break. Some experts think it can help reduce inflammation that way.
It's kind of like pressing pause so your body can recalibrate.
Exactly. Now, whether you're into fasting or not, another thing Jones talks about is keeping a food journal.
Ah, that's way more doable for most people. Just write down what you eat.
Exactly. And you'd be surprised how much it can help. See, by keeping track of what you eat and when you get those flare-ups, you can start to connect the dots and figure out your own personal trigger foods.
So it's like being a food detective. What are some of the usual suspects people find are causing their joint pain?
Dairy, gluten, and nightshades are common ones. Nightshades are things like tomatoes, potatoes, peppers.
Oh, right.
But the thing is, everyone's different. What sets one person off might be totally fine for someone else.
So no magic bullet, unfortunately.
Nope. That's why paying attention to your own body's signals is key.
So step one, ditch the processed junk. Start listening to your gut, literally. Well, what about going all in on the veggies? I know Jones mentioned a study about a vegetarian diet and rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, yes. That study was really interesting. Basically, it suggested that eating less meat, especially those higher inflammatory compounds.
Like red meat.
Exactly. Less of that could be beneficial. It doesn't necessarily mean everyone has to go full vegetarian, but it's something to think about.
More veggies, less meat. Got it. Okay, what about fats? I always thought fat was the enemy when it came to inflammation.
It's more nuanced than that. Healthy fats, think olive oil, avocados, fatty fish, those can actually help reduce inflammation. It's the unhealthy fats, like trans fats, and too much saturated fat. Those are the real troublemakers.
Okay, so choose your fats wisely. That makes sense. What about fish, though? I know that came up in the video, too.
Yeah, fish, especially the fatty kind like salmon, tuna, mackerel, they're packed with those omega-3 fatty acids.
This is the good guys, right?
They are. Omega-3s are like the superheroes of the anti-inflammatory world. Studies suggest they can help reduce both joint pain and stiffness.
Interesting. So more omega-3s, either by eating more fish or taking supplements. Got it. So we've been talking about omega-3s and how good they are for our joints.
Yeah, they're like little inflammation fighters running around putting out fires.
Love that visual. But what else can we do? What else can we add to our plates to help our joints out?
Well, you know how vitamin C is supposed to be good for colds? Turns out there's some research suggesting it might also be helpful for osteoarthritis.
Really?
Hmm.
So my morning orange juice is doing double duty.
Possibly. We need more research, of course, but you see, vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant,
Right, right.
which means it helps protect our cells from damage.
And that includes the cells in our joints, I'm guessing.
Exactly. Plus, vitamin C, it's super important for collagen production, and collagen, well, that's like the building block of healthy cartilage.
So more vitamin C. Bring on the citrus fruits. Oranges, grapefruits, lemons.
Exactly. And don't forget about bell peppers, strawberries. Those are good sources too.
Oh yeah, good call. And all those leafy greens like spinach, kale.
All good stuff. And you know, the really cool thing here is that it's not just about one magic nutrient.
It's the whole picture, right?
Exactly. It's about all the choices we make, all the things we put into our bodies. They all work together to create this environment.
Like a whole ecosystem.
Yeah. An ecosystem. And that ecosystem can either help reduce inflammation or make it worse.
So we're building a toolkit, one meal at a time.
I love that. A toolkit for happy joints.
But it's overwhelming sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
right? All this information about what to eat, what not to eat, where do we even start? What would you say to someone who's just feeling totally overwhelmed?
Take a deep breath. Start with the basics. We've talked about a lot of them today. Reduce those processed foods. Choose whole, unprocessed options whenever you can. Really pay attention to how your body feels after you eat.
Listen to that gut.
Yes. And of course, always talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can help you figure out a personalized plan.
Because there's no one-size-fits-all approach, is there?
Nope. We're all unique snowflakes, and our diets should reflect that. And that's where this whole idea of personalized nutrition is so exciting.
Personalized nutrition. Tell me more.
So, you know how we're learning more and more about the gut microbiome and how it's different for everyone?
Right.
Well, personalized nutrition is about using that information, along with your genes and your lifestyle, to create a diet that's tailored specifically to you.
So it's not just eat this for better joints, it's eat this because of your unique situation.
Exactly. It's about figuring out your personal trigger foods, understanding how your body responds to different things, and then making choices that support your individual health goals.
This is blowing my mind. It's like my whole life I thought eating was just about, not being hungry. Now I'm realizing it's so much more than that.
It really is. It's about giving your body the information it needs to thrive.
It's about having a conversation with your body through food.
Exactly. And the more you learn to listen to your body's signals, the better you'll become at giving it what it needs.
So what's the main takeaway for our listeners today?
Your plate is powerful. What you choose to eat can have a huge impact on your joint health. Don't underestimate that.
We've got more control than we think.
We do. We really do. Now, of course, we always have to say this. We've shared a lot of interesting research and insights today. But it's always best to talk to your healthcare provider before making big changes to your diet, especially if you have any health conditions.
Always good advice.
Especially if you're on medication. Always, always talk to your doctor.
It's like we're finally giving ourselves permission to take control.
Yes, and to enjoy it. It doesn't have to be all, restriction and sacrifice.
Right. It's about finding those foods that make you feel good, that give you energy, that make your body say, thank you.
Exactly. And that looks different for everyone. That's the beauty of it, right?
Absolutely. It's like we said, it's a conversation, not a monologue.
We're learning to listen to our bodies and give them what they need.
And the more we learn, the more possibilities open up.
Right. There's so much more to discover. This whole field of personalized nutrition is just getting started.
Imagine what we'll know in 5 years, in 10 years.
It's exciting. We're on the verge of a whole new understanding of food and health.
And it all starts with awareness,
Yeah.
right? Paying attention to what we eat, how it makes us feel.
Exactly. It's about becoming informed advocates for our own well-being.
And remembering that food can be a source of healing.
Absolutely. It's not just fuel, it's information.
Powerful information that our bodies are just waiting to receive.
So eat well, listen to your body, and enjoy the journey.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive.
It's flown by.
It really has. But we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? We talked about the different types of arthritis, the role of inflammation, the gut microbiome.
Fasting, food journaling, anti-inflammatory foods, vitamin C,
Oh, and don't forget those omega-3s. So much good stuff to take away.
the power of the plate. That's what it all comes down to.
It really does. And remember, everyone, while we've shared some great information today, based on the research from that Rahana Jones video and more, always, always talk to your healthcare provider before making any big changes to your diet, especially if you have any health concerns.
They're your partner in this journey.
Exactly. So here's to happy, healthy joints and the power of food to transform our lives. Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive.